Hi, it's Adrian Law here. It's so good to see you now that we're back to some kind of normality. You might have low stock, that might not be normal, but at least you've got some grossing opportunities there. Now, the reason for this video is twofold, and it's two big mistakes that I see salespeople making in particular, and what you can do about it to fix those mistakes. But it's also important to understand the why salespeople are doing this in the first place to be able to fix it properly. Now, the first one, and this is backed up by feedback over the last week from dealer principals and GSMs alike, that a lot of the salespeople are picking the low-hanging fruit only. That is, customers and guests that are pretty much ready to buy right now, compared to the ones that are weeks or even months away. So why are they doing that? Well, it's easy money and it doesn't take much work. However, we've got some strategies that you can put in place to nurture, if you will, the customers and guests that are not immediate. So by the time they're ready, they want to go back to that salesperson. And the second mistake, which the first one can lead into sometimes, and this is also a biggie, is on the phone. And a typical, I don't know if you've listened to a lot of phone calls, recorded phone calls, but a lot of the phone calls go like this. The customer or guest calls up, they've got questions to ask, pretty much the salesperson answers them. Customer or guest asks another question, salesperson answers them. And the pattern of that phone call goes like that. Question asked, answered. At the end of that phone call, the customer hangs up saying, thank you very much for your help. And they've got all the information they needed. They've got absolutely no obligation whatsoever to go back to that salesperson or guest. In most of the phone calls that we listened to, the salesperson didn't even ask for an appointment. And when they did, it was very poorly asked for. It was things like, when would you like to come in? Or can you come in? Or would you like to test drive? It was poor. You may think that sounds okay, but there's much, much better ways to ask and the probability of getting the customer or guest in front of you. Now, the second reason that they are doing that, because a quick fix, you might say, is to get the salesperson to ask more questions, which to a degree is going to help, but it's a behavioral thing. And that is that the salesperson often thinks that they're being helpful, firstly. They're showing their knowledge. They're trying to convince the customer or guest to buy their car. So rather than just telling them to ask more questions, what we've got to realize is that it's actually skillful and it's an art to be able to take a customer or guest question, turn it into a question to get more information, and then lead that same customer or guest through a process of questions to an outcome that's usually to get them in front of you, to get that fixed appointment and get those show-up rates higher. It's a behavioral shift. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes good training, and it's not a one-off thing. It's got to be monitored and measured and feedback provided and then extra coaching. We have a fantastic program, if you'd like some help with this, called the Phone and Internet Mastery Program, which is now available online as well. And when I say online, that includes live, which through the ability of technologies like Zoom, for example. So with the travel restrictions, we can still help with that. And it's so imperative that your team are doing well on the phone and not just taking that low-hanging fruit. So if you'd like help with this, reach out. I hope all is well with you and your family, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.